Hi everyone, welcome to Faith Friday. I'm Father Sam Kachuba. Today is the feast of Pope St. John Paul II. For many of us, that is a pope who we remember extremely well. In fact, for most of my life, he was the only pope who I ever knew. He was the only pope from the time I was born until the time I was in my early 20s. What a great gift we had in Pope St. John Paul II. And I was struck recently, I was looking through some stuff, and I came across something that he had said in one of his homilies at a canonization. Now, an interesting thing about John Paul II is that he canonized more saints than any pope before him. Pretty fascinating. Anyway, in this homily, he said that we venerate the saints not because of all the things that they did. Not every single thing that a saint did was perfect or good. We don't venerate them because they were completely perfect, because every decision they ever made, every word they ever spoke was so good and wonderful. But rather, we venerate them because their virtues, those good things that they did, those good habits of virtues, point us to how we ought to live. Those virtues of their lives point us to what it looks like to be a real, true follower of Jesus Christ. We know that they're conditioned by their time. We know that they're not completely perfect. Remember, every saint is also a sinner. Every saint is also a sinner. They're just simply one of those sinners who strove valiantly against that evil, who triumphed over their own sinful inclinations and became good and virtuous. We look to the saints not because they're so perfect in everything or because they were always perfect, but rather because recognizing their own need for God's mercy, they turned to the Lord. Recognizing their own need for God's help and providential care, they turned to Him. Recognizing that the Lord had called them into this profound and personal and deep and beautiful relationship, they became virtuous men and women who give us an example. So today we look at Pope St. John Paul II, and we know the virtues of his life. We know the great and heroic things that he did. We know the ways in which he lived out his faith, in which he was an example, in which he proclaimed the truth of the dignity of the human person, in which he was able to share the good news of the gospel even in a place and a time when so often the world was trying to forget about God. We see also in John Paul a great example of suffering. We'll see also in the example in the life of Pope St. John Paul II, a man who went to confession regularly, at least every week, because he knew his own sinfulness and he knew his own need for God's mercy. And so if we're going to become saints, we need to recognize and see that we are sinners too, but we are sinners who have been given the gift of virtue. We are sinners who have been called into this beautiful life of mercy and love with Jesus Christ. God bless you.